You probably already know what a growth mindset is and what a fixed mindset is. And you probably also know that you want to spend more time in a growth mindset than you do a fixed mindset. What you probably don't know is that you're never just one or the other. You fluctuate between the two. You're on a continuum. And in today's episode of The Inner Coach, I want to let you know how you can develop your mindset so you spend more time in a growth mindset than you do in a fixed. I'm Alex Knight, and I'm the Inner Coach, and I help hundreds of clients all around the world make their passion their source of wealth. First of all, let's do some homework. A growth mindset is basically a mindset that believes that it can develop the talents that it needs, where a fixed mindset basically believes that talent is what you're born with and it can't be changed. In effect, they don't believe in growth. The second core belief that a growth mindset has is that you get better by focusing on the process rather than focusing on the results, where a fixed mindset overly focuses on results rather than the process. With these key differences in beliefs, we see different characteristics coming forward in the growth mindset than the fixed mindset. For example, a growth mindset or somebody with a growth mindset will instinctively take on things that they find challenging because they know they'll learn from that. Where somebody with a fixed mindset will prefer to do something that they find easy because they don't want to fail. They don't think they're going to get better through challenge. Another key trait is that somebody who has a growth mindset will always embrace difficulty. They will look forward to it, where somebody who has a fixed mindset runs away from difficulty because they don't see the point in facing difficult challenges. Number three, when you have a growth mindset, you are much more likely to embrace feedback, to really want to know where you can improve, where a fixed mindset doesn't think they can improve, so they won't look for it. A growth mindset is also somebody who believes in working hard, so will work hard to develop their skills because they know they can get better. Whereas you have a fixed mindset, you're just not going to put the time and energy you need to grow. And finally, a growth mindset gets inspired by what other people are doing, by other people's victories, rather than feeling threatened as if they had a fixed mindset. It's not hard to see who's going to be more successful in life. If you've got a growth mindset, you're going to evaluate your risk better. You're going to take more action, and therefore you're going to get better results. In fact, Carol Dweck, who developed this whole concept of a growth mindset, brought up 143 different studies that showed that people with growth mindsets were much more successful. And huge corporations like IBM, Apple, and the like have spent millions of dollars making sure that their teams adopt a growth mindset. So how do you make sure that you are living in a growth mindset rather than a fixed one? First of all, we want to strengthen that belief that you can get better by working on your talents. That's a core belief. Now, a lot of people say they believe that, but the truth is they just know it. They know it intellectually. They don't know it emotionally enough to drive it into their DNA. So it's a thought that is consistent in their mind. Culturally, we've been taught that talent is something that you're born with, and we need to undo that programming. Once we've got that core belief down, we then need to move our attention from the results to the purpose. One way that we can do this is to make sure that we're making plans, that we're thinking about what it is we've got to do to achieve the results that we want, and then to sit down and look at those steps that we're going to take and make sure that we have reasons for loving them, that we pay attention to why it's enjoyable to help people with their taxes, or becoming a coach and coach people to achieve their dreams, or why it's enjoyable to make YouTube videos. Once we do that, then we can start to actually fall in love with the process. I love this quote. Do what you love is for amateurs. Love what you do. That is where results are born. If you start to strengthen that core belief that you can develop your talents to get where you want to go and reject the idea that you're born with them and they can't be changed, and you also start to pay attention to the process, then you're going to strengthen these traits that a growth mindset has. But the other thing that we can start to do is also work on those traits. We can actually affect our mindset by deciding to show up in a certain way. So it's simple. Make sure you're choosing the challenging things to do in life, that you're not taking the easy route. Every time an opportunity comes to do something that's easy or something that's challenging, the more time you choose the challenge, the more time you are strengthening your growth mindset. Same with difficulty. Make sure you embrace it, that you run towards it. Every time you choose to take on difficulty rather than running away from it, you strengthen it. You strengthen the growth mindset. Next is really valuing hard work. The harder you work, the more you'll grow. The more you grow, the more you'll believe in a growth mindset. And actively seeking out feedback. Again, it's a trait that comes from a growth mindset, but if you force yourself, even if you find it difficult or uncomfortable, you'll soon learn to get comfortable with getting feedback and learning to develop from it. Plus, you'll start to get evidence that it works and strengthen the growth mindset. And finally, make sure you seek out and celebrate other people's successes. This can be really challenging, especially with people that are kind of on the same level of us. People that are above us, we don't have any problems really saying, hey, you guys are doing great, fantastic. But if we're someone that's on the same level or below us, instinctively our fixed mindset wants to come in and say, oh, that's a threat. We're not going to do as well as we think we are because they're doing better than we expected. No, you celebrate their success and use it as an inspiration to move yourself forward. There you have it. That's how you develop a growth mindset. So make sure you incorporate these practices into your daily life. Make sure you write this down and start journaling and growing your success mindset or your growth mindset. It's not how much time you put into something that matters, it's how much energy. And if you put energy into developing your growth mindset, you're going to be more successful in business and in life. And if you've got a question about how you can become unstoppable in business and life, then please drop me an email or drop a comment in the comment box below. Finally, if you found this video useful, then please share it with somebody that you know needs to see it. And until next time, remember, I believe in you and you've got this.